Hello and welcome to iBluairJgR Gaming for Comedy. This is a Blade and Soul skill build for the Assassin for PvP. Today's build is something I like to call the Combo Master. This setup is all about rendering your opponent unable to defend themselves and capitalizing on their moments of weakness with crowd control. So without further ado, let's get things started. Yet another variation on the Poison Breath ability, Venom Swarm Tier 3, Form 2, sends a small family of poisonous moths chasing after your opponent. Once they make contact, they'll apply one stack of poison, deal some shadow damage over a few seconds, and disable your target's defensive abilities for 8 seconds. That means they can no longer counter, block, or parry. After landing Venom Swarm, it's much easier to land attacks like Turning Leaf, Throw Dagger, and Shadowless Step, simply because your opponent won't be able to block or counter or parry them anymore. As a side note, targets affected by Venom Swarm can still resist your CC attacks with skills that grant them resisting effects. Next up we have Shadow Slash. This, I believe, is one of the most powerful abilities in the Assassin's Toolkit. For this build, we're taking it at Tier 3, Form 3. This changes the attack from a targeted ability to a melee range area attack with a knockdown, slow, and disabling effect. Now, if you want this skill to be super effective, every time you land the knockdown, you need to say out loud, "Get the f*** on the ground." Because that's obviously the right thing to do. Here, let's move on. As far as popularity goes, I don't see this ability very often, but I love it because it's awesome, that's why. At Tier 2, Form 2, Flash Kick becomes an incredibly devastating, unblockable single target attack usable against a downed opponent. It chains well with Shadow Slash or any other knockdown ability, but it can be difficult to land because it has a fairly lengthy animation. This skill is great to use against opponents that consistently use ground counters. Against a more elusive opponent, you're going to have some trouble landing this skill. Next up, we have some bread and butter skills. If you've played Assassin for at least a few hours, then you know a little something about Spinal Tap, Heart Stab, and Mist Slash. Spinal Tap Tier 2, Form 1. It penetrates defense, it deals moderate damage, applies one stack of bleed, one stack of poison, and stuns the target. It's pretty straightforward. Heart Stab Tier 4, Form 1. It deals high damage and it's an instant cast on a stunned, dazed, grabbed, or phantom gripped target. Last but not least, Mist Slash deals low damage and generates focus, which you need in order to use Heart Stab. Okay, now that we've talked about the bread and butter, let's talk about how to make the sandwich. Alright, you start off the fight with Spinal Tap, you stun up the target. Now, all of a sudden, Heart Stab is an instant cast, and Heart Stab can be animation cancelled with Mist Slash to create a very quick burst of damage. I like to call it fast hands. Mist Slash plus Heart Stab equals fast hands. I'm gonna use that term again. That's right, take notes, ladies and gentlemen, because we're going to school now. Let's move on. Throwing Dagger is a low damage attack usable from stealth that tags your target, slows them, and applies one stack of poison. Sneak Attack Tier 2 Form 1 rear charges the target marked by Throwing Dagger, deals some moderate damage, and dazes the target. Let's say you're wandering around in stealth, you've got 6 seconds on the clock, and you have no idea what to do with yourself. Well, a good idea would be to start with the Throwing Dagger, mark up your opponent, poison him, and keep your finger on the Sneak Attack button, but don't press it. Walk right into your opponent's grill and then stab that motherfucker in the face. Or in the spine, whatever, that's semantics. From there, start up your Heart Stab Mist Slash combo, get those fast hands going. But don't get too excited, the stun from Spinal Tap is only 2 seconds, but as soon as that bad boy wears off, boom, now it's time to Sneak Attack, get those fast hands going again, and then from there, what you do with this bloody, soon-to-be corpse is pretty much up to you, but since I've got you here, let's talk about what I would do. If I'm feeling cheeky, I'll tell my opponent to get the f*** on the ground and hit him with Shadow Slash, followed by a flash kick to the face. If I'm in a more practical mood and if my focus is high enough, I'll send my target into the air with Sweeping Gale and perform an aerial combo. If I want to collect all the style points, I'll use Backstep, Turning Leaf, Shadow Dash, Shadowless Step, High Wire, pull High Wire Cord, Sweeping Gale, use that aerial combo, bring him back to the ground, flash kick. Look, that's a little over the top, but my point is, the Assassin class is all about having a lot of different options available to you at any given time, and it's up to you to figure out what option is the best. Now, we're almost done here, people. The last few skills on the list, they can become an integral part of your combo, or they can be a nice surprise for an enemy that thinks he's got you all figured out. Time Bomb Tier 1. After placing this stick of Acme Dynamite under your opponent's shirt, after 7 seconds it will explode and daze them. This skill can be used offensively or as a safety net for when you get caught in a bad situation. Close Shave is a way to deal some guaranteed damage to a stun or dazed target. And it's a rather inexpensive haircut, so whoever you're fighting will be grateful every time you use this. Last but certainly not least, we have Lotus Kick. This variation on Lotus Fury removes the resist damage component of the ability, but grants you an additional stun. While it does leave you without a safety net of sorts from the resist damage granted by Lotus Fury, more crowd control is always a good thing. And that's it. That was a lot to take in, but that was the Combo Master. It's a very powerful skill build for the Assassin, but it's also very difficult to use. Takes a lot of dexterity, gotta have good timing, gotta know when your cooldowns are ready. It's a whole bunch of stuff, a lot to manage. But anyway, the wrap it up music is playing, so thank you for watching iBluairJgR Gaming for Comedy. As always, I enjoyed making it, so I hope you enjoyed watching it as well. I'll see you next time.